A few weeks ago, I showed you guys the 3 pillars of carnivore bread and how you can make it successful, but I know sometimes you don't have an oven or you want to be able to make this a little quicker than that recipe. So we're going to do an experiment today and we're going to try to make a carnivore, more focaccia-style bread, and we're going to use a skillet on the stovetop to do it. So if you don't have an oven or you don't want to fire up an oven and take all that time, you can have bread in a completely different way on a carnivore diet. We're gonna go ahead and get all of the ingredients out, and I'm gonna whip up that mixture, and I'll tell you a little bit about what I'm doing differently. And then most importantly, I'm gonna show you how we cook this in a skillet on the stove top, making it easy and a little bit quicker than the other way to do it as well. This is a really interesting science experiment, which theoretically should work. Stick around and figure out, was I right or was I wrong? It's carnivore focaccia done on the stove top in a skillet today on Chris Cookin' Nashville. So I mixed up my bread mixture from that carnivore bread video, which I will link right up here for you guys if you would like to go watch that as well and learn the 3 pillars of successful carnivore bread. I then put this into a very large skillet, and it's 3/4 of an inch, maybe an inch thick in there. So you're gonna need something large, and you're going to need a lid that goes over top because we're going to use steam to help us cook this. But this bread mixture is slightly different than that video that I did a few weeks ago, and I'm gonna tell you why. I actually reduced the amount of cream that goes into this just slightly, and I will make sure that there is a recipe card for this specific version of this bread, if it works, linked in the description box for you down below so you can get all of the exact amounts exactly how I did it. By having a little bit less moisture in here, we can actually keep this bread a little more manageable, especially since we are cooking it in a pretty unconventional way. I also reduced the amount of egg white powder in this. I don't need quite as strong of a protein structure. And if you watched that video of my carnivore bread loaf, you know one of the 3 pillars is the rise of bread, but because this bread is so much thinner and does not have to stand as tall, we don't need as strong of a protein structure for that rise to be able to hold its shape. Now, once that mixture has been put together properly with that folding technique to maintain all of that extra air, I poured that into this skillet, which was preheated on a medium-low heat with melted butter in the bottom. That melted butter is going to give us that fried, buttery flavor that we love on crusty breads. We do not want to turn the heat up too much because if we do, we'll burn the bottom of the bread long before we ever get it cooked through. We're sort of creating an oven-like atmosphere with steam that allows this to continue to rise and the baking powder that is in there to activate. Now, if you don't want to use baking powder, you could absolutely do my old version of this, which uses baking soda and vinegar. But the baking powder is going to be a little bit more predictable in terms of rise. And because it's heat activated, it's going to react according to the bread being cooked through instead of the chemical reaction, which means you have more working time, and it's going to allow you to cook it this way a little bit easier. Now, this is probably going to need to cook for 10, maybe even up to 15 minutes on this first side. What we're looking for is that there is little to no jiggle left, and the bread is going to be very white and pale looking on top, but it's going to start crusting around the edges. Once that happens, we can very carefully either use a plate or a really confident flip with a big pancake turner or a spatula to flip this bread over just to cook the other side a little bit. Not only does this cook in approximately 15 to 20 minutes, you can eat it almost immediately. It doesn't need a lot of cooling time because we're keeping it so much thinner. We are not fighting near as much weight with that protein structure having to hold the rise up. Because we reduced the amount of egg white powder slightly as well, moisture should not be an issue, especially because we're maintaining some of the steam in this hot oven-like environment. It just might be a game changer of a bread recipe, but there's a couple of things with physics and chemistry that are going on here, which is why I have altered this recipe. Let me break it down for you. We're going to do a breakdown riff. So there's 4 things that we really need to consider when it comes to making this bread. By whipping the egg whites and the cream for that matter, we have created millions of little bubbles inside of our mixture. And by using baking soda, we are actually going to increase that even more. These bubbles are going to expand under heat, and that's what's going to give us lift. And of course, baking soda is reactive to heat, so it's going to create more of them as the bread mixture cooks. Now, all of those bubbles are trapped inside of a net, a framework created by gelatin, and that is going to hold all of those bubbles together. That's why we add the gelatin into the cream mixture and carefully fold it all together into our final bread batter or dough. The problem is that gelatin is going to start to liquefy as soon as we add heat. This is where our protein comes in. Our protein starts to create its own network under heat. As heat goes through the protein, it sets all of those proteins firmly, and they create the new network around the bubbles as the gelatin is breaking down. The key is to time this, so as the gelatin starts to liquefy, the protein starts to set and catch those bubbles that are expanding within the gelatin matrix. And then the last thing we need to worry about is the moisture content, because there's water all through this mixture. But as we set those proteins and slowly cook this mixture, that moisture turns into steam as those proteins are setting. They tighten down, they push the moisture out, and that creates the steam, which serendipitously is helpful in cooking the bread on the top side where it's not getting direct heat. All 4 of those steps together is what creates the rise that is trapped, which is solidified and then steams out to give you the bread texture and flavor you're looking for. So let's find out if this actually worked. I'm thinking we treat it like breadsticks because we are serving this with a brand new type of carnivore pizza I'll tell you guys about.
It smells really good.
Yes.
Definitely even smells like bread. So kind of that yeasty kind of vibe.
Looks good.
Yeah. You're brave, by the way, to let me try this on camera because I've never had it before. I could totally spit this out, you guys. You know how I feel about carnivore bread.
All right.
Ooh, soft.
Very soft.
Like that. All right.
Tastes great.
I think this is perfect. I honestly was not really sure if I was gonna like this. This is really impressive. Soft. It looks awesome. It smells amazing. The flavor of this one is actually probably better than your other carnivore breads, I think. I also love the butter flavor that you have throughout it. And then what was it that you put on top? Was it garlic butter?
Melted butter, some minced garlic, some Italian seasoning, a little bit of white pepper. It's just something we really like. Brush that over the top. You could put whatever on top you really want. And I know a bunch of people are gonna ask about inclusions, like you would do with focaccia bread where you can put things on top of it and bake it. I would not recommend doing that. This basically liquefies as the gelatin gets warm. If you put things on top of this, as soon as it liquefies, they're all gonna sink. But if you wanna put stuff on this like this, you can chop it up, put it in butter, do whatever. When you flip it to that second side, absolutely put it over the bread. That's the right way to flavor this.
Also, how easy was this? I mean, this took us like no time to make.
You just gotta keep it like low, medium, low. So you want it cooking and you wanna see bubbles rising up. It's kind of like cooking a pancake in that way.
Yeah.
You just don't wanna hear any sizzle, and you don't want it to get too hot because it will burn on this side. But as long as you do it slowly, I think it took about 15 minutes or so.
I've literally eaten the 4 pieces of this. It's so good though.
It's
I'm
really
really
good.
impressed by this.
Now, if you guys wanna see what we're gonna serve this alongside, because I have this really fancy new carnivore pizza recipe, you gotta go check out this video right over here. It says Chris cooking Nashville and Ash Taylor. You guys eat your meat. Now your focaccia-style skillet bread. Love your life. We'll see you here for more crazy recipes just like this one.
How do you do this on the first try? Like, what goes on in your little brain? It's impressive. Honey, this is so bomb though.